Why am I not surprised that some Democrats plot to disrupt Trump's speech to Congress? I'm sure none of us are surprised at this point about how the Democrats are literally acting like children pouting in the sandbox because somebody kicked over their sandcastle. And the problem is they actually believed their sandcastle was a real castle. So when it was kicked down, they started crying and pouting and throwing a temper tantrum. This is exactly the first image that pops into my head whenever something like this comes up. And it's clear Democrats and their supporters are still bitter they lost. Now, see, 4 years ago when Biden cheated to win the election, now let's stop dancing around it. We know they cheated. 20 million people decided, you know what, I'm not going to vote at all. And we all know that people that had been deceased for a long time, in some cases, even voted more than once. But we can't talk about that. We can never talk about that, because when the blue flu rolled in, it's the perfect time to squash any information that comes out that we don't agree with. We can call it misinformation. And we can blend that into all the crap we're doing behind the scenes. And through all the muck and mire, the people would not be able to know the difference. They won't know whether they're coming or going. And things like this, it's just more of the same. They haven't learned their lesson, and they don't realize. You Democrats need to realize something. People have chosen their avenues to research the things they want to find out about. And a lot of times we sit there and we know that you guys are blatantly lying to our faces. And we sit there and we listen because we're like, okay, let's see how long this person does this before they realize, yo, I know you're lying. When are you going to stop lying? And in every situation, it seems like they never stop. And this is what the Democratic Party has become, and their supporters and voters that still are willing to die on that Democratic hill, that hill of trash. Evanston has a hill called Mount Trashmore. Legend has it that there's an abundance of trash underneath it because the whole field used to be littered with trash, and it was like, holy shit, we gotta do something about this. And they stuffed it under a mountain, and supposedly that's how the mountain gained the name Mount Trashmore. And it's known throughout the country. A lot of people knows about Mount Trashmore in Evanston, Illinois. And it's kind of symbolic because the Democrats remind me of Mount Trashmore. Let's read some of this. Some Dems plot to disrupt Trump's speech to Congress. Of course they are. They're still bitter. They got their sandcastle kicked over. Democratic lawmakers are discussing a litany of options to protest at President Trump's speech to Congress on Tuesday, including through outright disruption. A half dozen House Democrats told, I can't even pronounce that. And another thing, if they actually do this, people need to start being removed from Congress for doing this. This is not accomplishing anything. All you're doing is impeding the progress of this country moving forward to actually get something done, which is, mainly one of the big reasons why the country keeps falling in debt more and more, and there's no progress to even address it. Cities are low on funds because of mismanagement and fraud. Let's face it, a lot of these politicians have been stealing money for decades on top of decades, times 12 decades, and add 10 more on top of that. This is what they've always done. And this is why they're mad at Doge. They're mad at Elon. How dare you reveal to the public what we've really been doing? We don't want them to know that. How dare you, Elon? This is all your fault. We never voted for you, Elon. How dare you? So all of a sudden, it's everybody else's fault. You're a traitor. And they will go after you too. They will eat their own. They will cannibalize their own party. This is why they are in free fall formation right now. They are on the Titanic still roasting marshmallows as the ship is plunging down to the depths of the furniture. On the deck furniture is just sliding off the boat. But they're like, another one of those marshmallows so I can roast some right here. There's nothing to see here. Nothing going on. Oh, really? Nothing going on. Fuck. Why it matters. Some of these tactics go beyond their leaders' recommendation that members bring guests hurt by Trump and Doge. This sets up a potential clash between party traditionalists and its more combative anti-Trump wing. The part that we all agree on is that this is not business as usual. We would like to find a way, productively, to express our outrage, one House Democrat told XC or whatever. I tried. There is widespread disagreement among Democrats. What a surprise. And I'm sorry, this video is gonna be full of rants. Sorry. But if Kamala somehow, if she was to put everybody under a spell for some reason and make everybody vote for her, and somehow she was able to win the presidency, it wouldn't matter what she did, said, or tried to do or nothing. Democrats would view her as the best thing to ever happen to this country. Nothing she's doing or saying is wrong. Oh, World War III just started? Well, it's not Kamala's fault. It's not Biden's fault either. It's Trump's fault. Wait a minute. You guys have had 2 straight presidential runs. Kamala's president now and Biden was president. I mean, this is all you guys. But somehow they would step out of the way, and any and everything that went wrong would be like, oh, it's still Trump's fault. So what was Biden doing during his time? His 4 years, just sitting back, taking naps at Delaware? Zelensky would have ran straight through Kamala in that little meeting. First of all, she would have never agreed to have the media there anyway, even if Zelensky wanted it. That would have never happened. And ain't no telling what would have happened behind closed doors. She wouldn't have been able to stand up to dudes. She probably wouldn't even showed up for the meeting. She probably would have sent Tim Walsh there. Hey, could you handle this meeting for me? Sorry, I'm still triggered because it's like, and then the stories that came out that she had like some kind of anxiety or something like that. How are you running for the president of the United States, the highest office in the land, the Oval Office, and you have anxiety issues when talking to the media, the people? That is a contradiction to that job right off the top. And a lot of you idiots actually voted for her? You motherfuckers have a tardy-licious brain. You guys play Atari. Forget Atari 2600. Democrats and the liberal left, y'all play Atari. That's what your brains are. See, all this rant, now I lost my place. I'm still a little bit heated, a little bit triggered, but we're going to get through it. There is widespread disagreement among Democrats, both inside and outside of Congress, over what would be the most appropriate and effective form of demonstration. What we're hearing, some members have told colleagues they may walk out of the chamber when Trump says specific lines they find objectionable. Lawmakers told. Yeah, I bet y'all will. Y'all don't do shit anyway. Criticism of transgender kids was brought up as a line in the stand that could trigger members to storm out, according to a House Democrat. Who was that was talking earlier? It was actually a Democrat. I don't know. He was on some show. Might have been Rahm Emanuel, who, I got choice thoughts on him too when he was mayor of Chicago. But anyway, even he had enough common sense to say, you guys are worried about who's going into what bathroom instead of the problems that's really facing this nation. And he was absolutely right the way he said that. And this is coming from your own Democratic Party. Some of y'all have common sense, but it seems like either y'all are afraid to stand up to the fringe left, or secretly y'all agree with the fringe left, because a lot of times y'all sit back and y'all don't say shit either. But you're right about that. All this talk about who's using what bathrooms and what chromosomes are allowed to participate in sports with women is not even something that should be on the forefront as far as what's important. World War III could break out at any moment and we still gonna be talking about who's going into whose bathroom. The fuck are we doing here? Anyway, I told y'all this is going to be a trigger rant. Criticism of transgender kids was brought up as a line in the sand that could trigger members to storm out, according to House Democrat. A wide array of props. See, this is just a bunch of nonsense. The closed-door meetings and on the White House floor Monday night, lawmakers were specifically discouraged from using props. 2 House Democrats told. These tactics are also a source of considerable internal debate among House Democratic rank and file, in large part because on what they've heard back in their districts. There are definitely a lot of constituents that really want Democrats to disrupt, and there are constituents who feel like that just plays into his hands, one House Democrat told. It actually will just play into his hands because the American people have spoken. I mean, the Democrats are proving that not only are you guys sore losers, but you don't have the ability to be objective and actually look at problems, the root of the problem, and actually treat the root so the rest of the tree won't be infected with your diseased mentality, your socialist ideology that has destroyed this country. And I, for one, I'm not alone in this when I say, hey, I'm tired of the whining and bitching coming from the left. You guys had 4 years to prove that it was the right choice to put Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in the White House. And during that time period, you basically proved that that was a horrible mistake, even though obviously there were questions and how Biden got in there in the first place. But let's just step aside of that for a moment. You guys had 4 years to prove that you belonged there, and instead you proved that you didn't, which is why Kamala Harris got railroaded in this last election. And Biden would have gotten railroaded too, because he was just a mummy pretending to be president, a mummified man wearing a suit. And what a surprise. Black female members of the Congressional Black Caucus have separately discussed donning black to more accurately capture the party's somber mood. Oh, that 93% of stupidity definitely gotta represent itself. Blue and yellow. Ukraine Caucus co-chair Marcy Kaptur, Democrat Ohio, will distribute ties and scarves with the colors of Ukraine's flag to signal support for President Vladimir Zelensky. And y'all want to call MAGA and conservatives Nazis and things of this nature, when Zelensky actually is president of a country that is home to that sort of thing. You want to know how so-called black people are treated in Ukraine? Bet y'all don't want to talk about that, huh? Because it's all about Russia. We have to all hate Russia. No, look at Russia. Don't look at Ukraine. No, pay attention to Russia. It's the same tactics they use within the country of the United States. Hey, don't look over here where we're doing all of this underhanded, deceitful things, illegal things that we're crying and bitching about right now that Elon Musk is uncovering so quickly. We don't have a way to stop it. No, don't look over here. Look over there. Look at Russia. Vladimir Putin has a booger in his nose. Look over there instead. This is sad that these people do not learn. And basically they're saying they're going to do whatever they can to impede the progress of this administration. The side effect of that will be this country will suffer because of it. These people claim to be patriots. Well, it's quite obvious. It's blatantly obvious that the Democratic Party and a lot of their supporters also are nothing more than domestic terrorists. Hit the like button and subscribe. This transmission is over.